Everybody gets afraid when they speak in public. It's one of the few things in life that is absolutely certain, along with death and taxes, that when you stand up in front of a group of people to say something, you will be nervous. Now, it varies from new speakers to seasoned professionals, but they all have a little bit of nerves. It's just natural. It's the way that you control them and the way that you manage them that makes a difference. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the fear of public speaking. I actually think it's quite interesting. I mean, when we stand up to speak, we're afraid really of two things. Firstly, we're afraid of rejection, of judgment. We're standing up there, we're giving people our opinions, we're giving them some of ourselves. We're afraid that they're going to turn around and say, no, Duncan, you're speaking complete rubbish, you're an idiot, and we don't like you. That's one of the reasons why we get afraid. The other reason, I think it harks back to the distant past, like we're on some African savannah with nothing but a sharp pointy stick and a tiger is running at us. Yeah, public speaking is a very visceral, very primeval experience. It's very much you against nature. So it's not surprising that we get a little bit afraid. And actually what tends to happen is that people tend to get into a cycle with public speaking. So they are initially afraid of it. That's entirely understandable. And then when they become afraid of it, they actually get a physical reaction to it. So fear creates your tension in your body. It makes you tense. It reduces your mind's ability to remember things. It makes your mouth go dry. And if you're tense, you don't appear natural. If your mind's not working as well, you forget what you're supposed to be saying. And if your mouth is a bit dry, then you can't say it as well. So actually, the physical reaction created by fear reduces your performance. And you get into this cycle that you're afraid, you get a physical reaction, you don't perform as well, you speak badly, and then you're even more afraid of it. And then you get an even worse negative physical reaction, you perform even worse, and the cycle just continues and continues and continues. What you need to do is to get into a positive cycle. So instead of being afraid of public speaking, you need to be confident about public speaking. If you're confident about public speaking, then you will be relaxed. You will be at ease, your mind will work better, your mouth will work better, everything will work better, and you will perform better. And then you will have the cycle that is positive thoughts about public speaking, positive physical reaction, positive performance, which in turn, positive thoughts, positive feelings, positive actions. So if you can get yourself into a positive cycle of public speaking rather than a negative cycle of public speaking, you will do a lot better. I admit that is perhaps easier said than done, but I thought today I would give you 3 little tips about how to get into a mindset where you start off being positive about public speaking rather than being negative about public speaking, rather than being afraid of it. So first and foremost, don't worry about being human. Literally, don't worry about making mistakes. Don't worry that you're not going to be perfect. We actually don't like people that are perfect. They annoy us. We like human beings. We like people who are fallible. We like people who are like us. So occasionally, when you muck stuff up on stage, people actually quite like it. Bizarrely enough, we want to be slick and polished and professional. But a lot of people don't like that much. They actually like it if you come across and you're just yourself. So first and foremost, don't be afraid of being human. Secondly, don't compare yourself to other people. So it's quite tempting when you see a really good public speaker, you think, oh, I want to be like that. And yeah, you do want to be like that. But if you measure your performance against them, you are going to disappoint yourself, because usually really good speakers have spent ages and ages and ages. They've spent years perfecting the skills. They've spent hours preparing that individual speech. They've put in a lot of time and effort. You can't expect to get that to that level straight away. It's kind of like if you go out for a jog. I mean, what do you expect when you go out for a jog? You think, oh, I ran a mile. That's really great, don't you? You don't think, well, Mo Farah could have run that in half the time. Because you wouldn't compare yourself to Mo Farah. That's just ridiculous. But people do it all the time when they're thinking about public speaking. They want to be like the really great ones, forgetting that the really great public speakers put in the effort like Mo Farah, dedicate their lives to it. So first and foremost, don't compare yourself to other people, compare yourself to yourself. If you get up and you say a few words and you don't die doing it, then that's a good result. So that's a good result for you. Be proud of that. Compare yourself to your last speech. Don't compare yourself to somebody who's brilliant at it. And finally, and perhaps most important of all, don't be afraid to practice. That might sound a bit strange, but I have met people who are so afraid of public speaking that they're actually afraid to practice, because practicing their speeches is confronting their fear. So they don't practice. And then when they have to speak, they don't do very well. So they get more afraid of it and they're less able to confront their fear by practicing. So the most important thing is don't be afraid to practice. Make the time, find the time, put in the time, practice, and you'll be prepared. And if you're prepared, you'll be much better, have a much more positive cycle. You'll perform better, you'll feel better about public speaking. So those are my 3 top tips for changing your mindset, turning the fear into positive feelings. Don't worry about being human, don't compare yourself to other people, and don't be afraid to practice. My name's Duncan Bascram Brown, I'm the Civic Coach. Thank you very much.